Testing. Okay, I think we're live. I want to make sure. I'm getting better at this, you guys. I'm getting better at this. So let me make sure that we are going the live. Hold up. So today we're doing the checkmate video, and then I'm going to do detachment on tomorrow. I feel like detachment is going to be really, really good. It's fitting for Friday. You know what I mean? And I'm sorry I switched up the schedule. I just need to make sure that, okay, we're live. I just want to make sure that we're doing our lives, okay? Now, I feel like in my last couple of videos, we were very like, you know, clocking the political tea. And on the real, like for real, like honestly, I don't like to talk about politics. I don't like to talk about current news. I really don't. You know what I mean? Because not everybody is willing to have tough conversations. Like tough conversations have to be had. And, you know, a lot of times like people are really invested in politics and invested in religion and invested in all of these different things. And I am just not. And so that is the detachment. I am detached from either way. And I'm going to talk about that tomorrow because we're going to get very deep in that. But I feel like when we talk about everything that's happening in the world, we kind of lose sight of, you know, the solutions, the possible solutions, you know. When you feel like, you know, I look at it like a basketball game when all the other teams, like they are scoring. And at this point, they're up 10, they're up 20, and you are not scoring like you feel like you're supposed to be scoring. You feel like you're losing. Like, is the game even still worth playing? And if you don't think this is a game, it is, okay? I'm sorry. Watch the other video. It is a game. Literally, it literally is. And you just start feeling like, what do they have that I don't have? You know what I mean? What's inside of them, you know what I mean, that is allowing them to win? And why is that not, you know, is God not listening? How could you award them with a win and they not good people? They not doing right by the word that they tell us to read. Like they not doing what they not living on the up and up. How are they winning? How are they moving? Listen, I'm going to tell you a story and then we're going to get into solutions. Okay. I'm going to tell you a story. Okay. And in this story, this is a really good book. I told you this. Listen, the bad people in the book is called Asuras. Okay. They're called Asuras. Okay. And I don't want to tell you what the word mean because you might not, you know what I mean? Everybody be scary or whatever. But anyway, these demons, okay, literally prayed, fasted, and meditated for 1,000 years. And they were able to get a wish, like a genie in a bottle, because they were able to do whatever they thought they were supposed to, whatever. They said their little prayers. They got awarded with boons, like a wish, right? And so, of course, they wish for crazy stuff and it caused destruction, right? They get all of that. And then all the gods are like, who is granting y'all wishes like that for real? Now we got to call Big Mama. We got to call Big Mama to come down here and save us, right? We got to call her down here because listen, and that is what I mean. Like they're doing what they need to do to be successful. They have the discipline to enact whatever it is that they feel like they need to enact. They get that the only thing their Achilles heel is pride. Pride, vanity. So they always, and then also their fear of their own extension. It's in the book. Okay. And so we see that being repeated, right? Their fear of being extension is going to be why, you know, they're doing all of the, who's calling me? Oh, my coworker's calling me. I'm about to call her back. Hold on. Let me tell her, hold on. I'm live and direct. Hold on. Let me call you. Let me call you in 20. Okay. Anyway, sorry, we gotta keep going. Anyway, so basically they did whatever they fasted, they prayed, and they got their wishes granted because they were diligent. Like, you have to meditate, you have to be on your namaste. That's what they did. This is out there in the Middle East. That's what they did. And they got wishes. And because they are destructive beings, they wish for, like, I want to live forever, immortality. But you can't get the wish granted for immortality. So they'd be like, oh, I only want to wish that I only, be gone. I don't want to say the word, okay, that I only want to be gone if it's by my own volition or something weird, like, or by the hands of a woman, because they have that much pride, that much vanity, that much craziness within them that they don't believe that a woman would ever step to them like that for real. And it happens in the book, man. It's a good book. It's a good book. Okay. It's a good book. And I'm gonna do it in another video, the next one actually, but you need to know history. And even, I feel like, even though this is what you would call mythology, a lot of the good stories, is in mythology as well. Just because you read a history book and mythology, the lines are blurred, because how do you know which is which? But it tells us the story that these enemies that we have, they're the same. They're just reincarnation. They're the same. They have the same mental capacity, the same thing. They fear their own extinction, which is why they are working so hard to make sure that they don't go extinct. Okay, that is what that is about. And they're always going to, now that you know what their motivation is, like what really drives them, their work ethic, that they're willing to, they're willing to work hard for their things, be diligent, make a list, stick to it, play their position, play their role in the game. Then you know what you have to be. You have to be that much more diligent, and you have to make moves. And then the other thing is, just because someone is loud doesn't mean that they're going to be making the most amount of moves, right? That's just the talking head. But in the background, we got a whole team of professionals ready to go. You have to think like that. We got to think like they think. Okay. And we got to move 10 to 20 steps ahead, because that's what they doing. But you have to know the psychology. You have to know how they think, their motivations, the spirituality, all of that stuff goes into it when you talk about how do you beat the system. You have to first know that you are in a system. The system is a game. And if we want to play the game, we have to know the players, right? How do the players move? How do you play the game? And then how you win the game. Because as an African American, they're going to always try to switch it up on us. They're going to try to do it. Anticipate that. Anticipate it. The tiger does not change the stripes. Excuse me, I ain't got my Invisalign in right now. I can't talk, okay? But it's just like, if you know your opponent, then you know how they play, you know what they do, make the moves accordingly, right? Anyway, so now we're going to talk about solutions. I had to do my intro and I had to do my big question, because it's easy for us to watch social media and see about all the things that are happening. It's like every day things keep getting worse, blah, 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 blah. And even then, I'm going to stop saying things keep getting worse, because I personally feel like things are getting better for me. Okay. But I don't want people to be in stuck in survival mode, like things are getting worse, things are like, no, stop saying it. Things are on the up and up. Things are, there's only up from here. Like, start changing and reframing the thing. I feel like when you are watching the social media reels or the news, and they're constantly giving you this feedback loop of how bad things are, and you start regurgitating it and everything like that, then it starts to manifest in your life. Okay, you have to pull yourself back. And we're going to talk about detachment tomorrow. That's why I want to save it for Friday. I'm going to have a lot of time tomorrow. I have a dentist appointment. I'm not going to work tomorrow. Yeah, I have an appointment. Okay. All right. So, but it's just like, you have to detach from the narrative. They're going to, like, when people tell you things over and over again, they need the masses to manifest what they want. The best way to manifest is through your emotions, how you feel. That is the secret. If you want money, feel like how you would feel with having money. You know what I mean? As good as I feel right now, that's how good I'm going to feel when this money is in my account. In fact, I feel it already. I feel it in my spirit already. That is the manifestation right there. Feel how you would feel in that moment. Well, if they are putting news and all this other stuff, it doesn't matter what emotion it is. You can feel a bad emotion and you can still manifest. So the hate watching, you know, just, I don't know what's the other word, but it's just like you don't like something, but you watch it and you just, all that negative energy, those negative feelings, they manifest themselves into your life. They need that, okay? Because if they could do it on their own, they would do it, but they need that rage bait. You know, it plays a part. Okay, so if you know that, if you know that, then you know that you can find your solutions. You have to know about all the different pitfalls and how to reduce. Okay, how to reduce the likelihood of you falling victim to whatever they got going on. Everything right now, I'm reading so many books on the power of the mind. I feel like because this book led me to it, the other book led me to it, is because there's a war on your attention span. Your attention span, your thought process, all of that. There's a war on that, and they want to shape the minds of everybody. They want everybody to believe everything, like group think, if you will, or maybe just separate, keep everybody separate so nobody is all on one accord. We're too busy fighting each other and we have not been able to come on one accord. You understand what I'm saying? So it's a battle for your mind. All social media engines, algorithms work on watch time. They want to keep you on the platform for longer. I am literally researching the social media. Like, that is why I'm doing live streams in the first place. We'll talk about it later, but it's just like, it's all based on watch time. Watch time. How long are you watching? Your attention span. Your attention matters. So what you draw attention to, we'll talk about that tomorrow on detachment, but all of that matters. So if you know all of these different things, then we can come up with a big strategy for everybody. Now, for the community, y'all, and then we're going to do the individual. I feel like as a community, since I'm talking about groupthink, I feel like we all need to buy land and have our own community. For us, by us, if you will. You need your own grocery store. You need your own bank. You need your own community centers, your own schools. If they're going to do the vouchers and different things like that, we need to start funding our own schools, funding our own things. We have the money. Listen, it's not like we don't have it. It's not like it's not in the account. It's not like we don't have access to the money. We need to organize ourselves. If we're the most educated, then we should be able to figure out a way to put our money into our own communities. Everybody needs to be putting their own stuff in their own community. Buy up the land, own businesses, have your own. We've done it. History has proven that we've had those black Wall Streets. And I don't like calling black anything. We had our own communities where we were taking care of ourselves. We were self-sufficient. Okay? But then they became a park. So it's important not only for you to develop your own community, but it's important for you to protect it. Okay, having that means of protection. Just like they have police, we need our own. We need our own special forces. We need our own special forces. We have so many, like, we are vast. We're not a monolith. We have black people that are doing everything everywhere. We can put our unit together. We could all be together, but we have to make sure that we don't get infiltrated, because that's a problem. We have to make sure that all the skin folk are kinfolk. We have to make sure as a community, right? And we don't want to, recreate the systems that they have. We don't want to recreate the negative energy that they have. That's what you know what I mean? Because, in my studies, I've learned that, civilization, they're more likely to keep up with whatever the old person was doing. So instead of dismantling white supremacy, you recreate systems to uphold what you was running away from, if that makes sense. So it's like you gotta shake that off, right? You gotta shake that off for real, because it will repeat itself if you don't study the history, if you don't learn everything that you're supposed to learn, it will repeat itself. So we have to just make sure those systems are in place, those checks and balances are in place so that we can, but I feel like there's no reason why we should not be able to create our own communities. Go somewhere and buy some land and get it popping. I don't feel like that should be a problem at all. We just have to make sure that we have the proper mindset. But it's hard for us to talk about these type of things, especially when we're in, you know, we're not amongst ourselves. We're in public. We're with other people are around. You know what I mean? And I feel like we're angry, but we don't know what to do with that anger. When I get angry, y'all, and I'm sorry, I'm about to lose my voice, but I get my planner. I get these journals out and I start coming up with things. Okay. And I'm going to share this with y'all in my October when we start, but yeah, like we start making plans. Okay. So let's start talking about the individual plan, the individual, because I feel like we can talk about, you know, the community, but it's just like, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to say that I don't have a lot of faith in us. I just feel like the likelihood of all of us coming together all at the same time, I'm still praying for that, but I don't know if that is something that we should hold out for. You know what I mean? If you get 2 or 3 people, or maybe even up to 10 people, and they're willing to do it, you know, but it's just like a lot of time our highly successful people are more, you know, interested in saving themselves. Like they don't care about everybody else. It's kind of like they have theirs and you need to figure out how you're gonna get theirs. They're more likely to be the bootlickers of the elite class than actually doing something for everybody else. You know, they would rather uphold the system where they have already found success rather than recreate a new thing. You know what I'm saying? Or even if they try to recreate a new thing, they would still maintain whatever else, you know. Like I don't want to deal with that. You know what I mean? I don't want to deal with that. You know, it's just too many different variables when you talk about everybody else. You know, the likelihood of everybody being on the same level, the same wavelength, I don't know. I'm working on my faith in other people, but I'm low-key, high-key an introvert, and I just do not have the faith in the people like that. I just don't. I am working on it, but the likelihood. I'm looking at the likelihood, right? And also, you know, that is a variable that you can't control. You can't control other people. You can't control whether or not somebody is going to be loyal to the community and to those in the community. You know, at the best, everybody's interests are being served by the community. I just don't, you know, because people that want to be leaders are not always the best leaders. They're not suited for it. They don't have the communication. They don't think about other people. People are more likely to follow their own pursuits. That is repeated in history. I have been reading books from the ancient text, and apparently people ain't been worth 2 dimes, 2 pennies worth, you know what I mean, for a very long time. So the likelihood of us all coming together, like, it's just not giving. It's not giving. So I'm not saying that, you know, we have to be individually minded, but we kind of do until we can find those like-minded individuals, you know, and that's what building community is about. But it's just like, you kind of just, girl, everybody, so you got to do your own thing. Let's talk about your own thing, right? Let's talk about you. Focus on you, what you can control. Your 5 fingers, right? So individual. I feel like you should do inventory. Okay. I made a template and I'm going to share it for October, but I'll just show you a picture of it. I printed it out. Okay. Now this has my actual stuff on it, but this is what it looks like. You know, and I'm gonna just show everything, but this covers the rest of this year up until the end of next year, so 2025 up until December 2026. And I'm gonna share this when I start, you know, planning and different things of that nature. But you have to do inventory, and so I put down 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, and 12 months. You have to have tangible goals. I think that a lot of my goals were more intrinsic in value, you know what I mean? Things like just being a better person, getting better with finances, but never like actually committing to an actual goal, girl. Non-committal girl. I am non-committal. Not trying to write nothing down, but it's just like, I don't know, in that silence and really trying to make my life better, I stumbled upon some different decisions that is actually going to make my life better. So something that I have here is the mindset reset, is not allowing or waiting for other people to see the vision, or like not telling other people about the vision. We work on that even though I preach it to y'all, but it's just like sometimes it gets lonely. Okay, it gets lonely being the first person to come up with something or having ideas, being an innovator and different things. Like, it gets lonely. You want to share your thoughts. You want to share, like even me doing these types of videos or just my live streams, or really just, I like live because you get to share your personality in the moment, especially in a time where AI is so on a rampage. It's good to see human connection. It means something, right? It means something because you're having a conversation with somebody in real time, and it works for me because, girl, I just don't have the time to edit like I used to. I just, between my work, everything, it's just a lot. And I just feel like this is a good thing for me. Like, this is my element. You have to be live on the spot. Yeah, I got a little, outline or whatever, but the best thing is to really just in the moment. People like that, but it's like, who do you talk to about it? I don't know, no streamers. You know what I mean? People in my regular life, like, they don't know anything about social media. Like, they don't, so it's like, it's hard for me to be passionate about something, but I'm by myself, right? And so you have to be okay with being by yourself, because your vision, your thing is for you. Other people are just not going to get it. They'll get it after the fact. But it still doesn't like take away from the fact that that's lonely. Like, it's alienating being the first person to come up with something, because you have to deal with the fact that you were the first one that came up with it. And then after the fact, everybody is trying to ride your tails, oh, how you do that? Show me how to do this, da 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 da. But when you said it at first, or you were just doing it, oh, that's not a good idea. I don't think that's good. I don't think, you know what I mean? So it's just kind of like, ugh. It's a lot of different emotions that come along with having a vision, having something that you want to do for yourself. Especially in these times, more people are going to tell you that what you're trying to do is not going to work, and for the most part, it might look like it's not going to work. But it always look like it's not going to work until it start working, period. Let me tell you. Anyway, next one, fear mongering, rejected. I'm going to show you how to detach in my next video tomorrow, but fear mongering. Social media is nothing but the fear mongering, especially right now. Okay. I could get deep on why that is, but it's just like, to manifest, they need your emotions. They need your attention, right? What you bring attention to is what you manifest into your life. Okay. It might be bugs on the rest of the mugs, but it ain't no bugs on me. Now, we're not dismissing other people, but at the same time, you cannot allow, other people and their problems to be, on you. You don't want to attract that into your life. We're trying to get the fleas off, okay? Period. You have to clean that from the inside. And so, all this fear-based fear, look, the future is an unknown. If you know that, then it's open for anybody. It's up for anybody. Anybody can win. Just like they believe that they can win, I believe that I can win. I believe that everything that I put my hand on is going to turn into the gold. Period. Everything we touch is going gold. Platinum, diamond, okay? Superstar. That's what I believe in, okay? And the only thing that really matters is whether or not you believe it, okay? What do you believe about your thing? Because they believe their things. And I bet you 5 years ago, when they was coming up with this plan, they never thought that, like, other people we never thought that this would be coming true. Nobody believed that this would happen. Nobody took it seriously. And here it is. right? So you have to believe in your thing. Next. And we're going to talk about reclaiming your time. I have this attitude, the Denzel attitude. I'm leaving here with something. I don't care if it is my job. I'm leaving here. Y'all are going to let me print something. Okay? Y'all going to let me print something. I need some of this copy paper. I'm leaving here with something. Okay? Yes, I'm getting paid for this, but I need some time to myself. Reclaim your time. How can you use your job or whatever to better yourself? How can you double it up? Like, you can be gainfully employed, working 2 jobs. How can you work your job and go to school at the same time? How can you work out a system like that? You know, those are some mindset shifts that are going to help you level up and beat them at their own game. Okay, so personal strategies. Everybody needs to get their money up. Get your money up. Okay, get your money up. I did my finances. I did my numbers. And I don't know. I just said, I'm not going to live paycheck to paycheck anymore. I'm not going to pay, I looked at it. What are the things that we can do without? I got rid of that. Okay, so I don't have any subscriptions to Netflix and different. I'm on my family account. Okay. So it's just kind of like we reduced that. We are down to bare bones, but it's just like doing all of that does nothing. Fighting AT&T, fighting all these other people does nothing when you have these other bills. Consumerism. That's my fault. I did that. You know what I mean? But it's just like I took the first steps of trying to do better with my finances. Okay, let me get some water. I tried to hold it, y'all, but I need some water. Oh my God. I usually say that I'm gonna have water, but I never drink it. Okay, I had to get some water. Anyway, so I didn't want to share about my finances because it's a touchy subject. You know what I mean? I was doing research about it, but it's just kind of like, hopefully me sharing my thing as I'm going through it will help you. Okay, I am paying all of my bills by myself. Okay, it is just me in here, and I'm not going to say that I'm very good at making money. Making money is not my problem. It is being a good steward over the money. Okay. I like to buy stuff. I do. I like to buy stuff. And you know what? I'm noticing a trend where I'll buy stuff and it will be so important for me to buy this thing. And then when I get it, it's just not that important anymore. It's just not that important, And so I'm working on that with myself, right? And then being an emotional buyer, buying stuff because emotions, right? So emotional eating and emotional buying. So it's just kind of like over time. And then those credit cards didn't just jump up. This is over years, y'all. Like 7-8 years. Almost, yeah. You know what I mean? And so I have just been doing the numbers, and then just over time, it just wasn't making sense. I was trying to pay it, but you know what I mean? You can't pay on it and then turn around and need it, right? I don't know. And so just doing my numbers, sitting down with a professional, and just making the best decision for myself. Okay. And so, yeah, like we're going to be doing that. Now, the thing is, I really felt like, I wanted to get to chapter 7, but we're ended up with the chapter 13 because we make a little bit more than we, you know what I mean? Anyway, I was like, you sure? And then while I was doing the process, that's when I was doing some other stuff for my student loans, and then I got hit with that bill and I was freaking out, which y'all saw in the video, girl. Y'all saw in the video. But it's just like, I felt like everything was just happening all at the same time, but I feel like right now everything is settling. The good news with the chapter 13 is that in a year I'll be able to buy a house. I have never really wanted to buy a house, but after I talked with my dad and he was just like, you know, he ran some numbers. We good with the add, subtract, multiply, and divide. He ran me some numbers and he was just like, yeah, you pay $2,000 in rent, 12 months, that's $24,000 that you've given away. Okay. Does that make sense to you? And I was like, no, it doesn't. It doesn't make sense. You know? And so my dad works in real estate and all this other stuff. So it absolutely does not make sense for me. But it's just like, you know, but I feel like my prefrontal cortex or whatever has hit and your girl is becoming more financially aware. You know what I mean? More financially aware, more financially stable. Like, you know, we think that financial stability is just making the money, but you could easily make $100,000 and be living paycheck to paycheck, living on your credit cards and different things of that nature. It's very easy to do, especially when you are keeping up with the Joneses, rent going up, or whatever the case may be, you know. And so I feel like this is the time, like, yeah, we're gonna have a tower moment, but we're gonna get back on our feet. We're good. And I would say the major thing is that things are not as bad as they could be. You know what I mean? Like, I caught it well before. My only regret is that I didn't do it sooner, but I'm glad that I'm doing it now when I have the good sense. Because if you do something before you have the sense, you know, then you didn't learn your lesson. You got to learn your lesson before you get the blessing, period. But yeah, your girl is doing that. So I'm planning, and y'all are going to see this, but you know, we're going to be taking the home ownership courses. Like, we qualify for a lot of things. And so we're just going to do that process and just get it together. And then after that, we're going to look into investing or something so we can make our money work for us and just being a good steward of our money, because we're making the money. We're making the money, but we're not, you know, we're just not, well, we weren't. You know, we were having fun times. Like, don't I look like I have fun? I have fun. Okay. And so the strategy is we have to be good stewards of our money. Okay. The rich are getting richer. We need to figure out how to get rich. Okay. Not trying to do a get rich quick scheme. None of that. Using the resources that you already have. How can you invest your money into things that are, now, I'm not an investor. Okay, I'm not an investor. Okay, I'm not a mathematician. I'm not none of that. Okay, I get my check. All right, but I want to see how can I make my check work for me. I want to retire sooner rather than later. And you know what? If we're being completely honest, you know, I'm from Mississippi. I really did believe that the man was a plan. I did. Okay, and I'm trying to let that go. You know, because now that I've been alone, I really like my space. I like my stuff the way I like it. I like my silence. I like spending money and not having to look over my shoulder. Like, I like my freedom. I like doing what I want to do when I get ready without having to explain myself. Like, I like that. You know, Miss Cheryl Lee, when she said, I have my house and he has his, I identify with that. You know, I was like, I like that. That sounds really good to me, you know? So I don't know, maybe I'm too far gone, but it's just kind of like, I did think that a man was a plan, and I really wanted to be a stay-at-home wife, not a stay-at-home mom, but just stay at home, you know, work from home. And so that's what we're going to, you know, keep doing, but we're going to invest our money and see how we can come up with those multiple income streams or something. Like, we're going to figure it out, you know, baby steps. The first step is we had to create, you know, a cash flow. Right? We have to create the cash flow. You can't do investing if you don't have any money to invest, right? So I think that everybody needs to be getting their money up, okay? How do you get your money up when you are in a scarcity mindset? Let me write that down. That's a good video. That's a good video. But I listen to the money mantras, okay? I have a whole playlist, y'all, and I don't know if I want to play the music. But I have a whole playlist of money music. Listen to it. Don't listen to anything talking about poverty. You know what I mean? Don't talk about it. Don't listen to anything. Like, I'm deeply tied to music, frequency of music, and different things of that nature. Burn some money incense. Okay? It's the HEM, the HEM incense. Get you some of that. Call money. Cinnamon. I love a good cinnamon smell. I love a good cinnamon smell. Put some, you know what I mean? Manifest that money. You know, and then the other part is I like to watch videos. Don't laugh at me. I like to watch videos of people counting money. Like, when people, listen, and this is we finna manifest right now, okay? Listen, when you get that money in your hand, how do you feel? How do you feel when you got that money in your hand? Don't you feel good? It's crispy dollar. It's crispy bit. It's like, you can just feel it. It smells green. It smells good. That's a manifestation tactic. Because how do you feel? I feel great. I feel good just thinking about it. I just feel so amazing. Like, when you take that money, okay, a fresh rack, okay, and you take that wrapper off, okay, take the wrapper off, and then you just start counting it like that. You know what I'm saying? You just count it, and you're just like, it's crispy, and every, something was sticking together because they that crisp, but you gotta, and you keep counting it. Listen, that's manifestation. The money keep calling. I know, and that's why I'm gonna talk about detachment, because we were talking about all this stuff yesterday and the day before. Detach from that. I know what they said about the economy, but detach and go within to yourself. There is some money in there, okay? There is some money. I promise. But everybody needs to get their money up, for real. Everybody needs to get their money up. And even if you don't have money, there are resources for you. If you don't have no money and you can't pay these credit cards, it's called Chapter 7 for you. Honey, it's called Chapter 7 for you, but I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own research and everything like that. But it's just kind of like, and then the other thing, I was talking with my attorney, and he was just like, I don't want you to feel bad. Because I'm like, sir, I pay my bills. I've never not paid the bills. Impeccable payment history. I've never missed a payment. Never missed a payment. When he told me I had to stop making payments, I what you mean? I can't still pay it? I can still pay it. I just, I might not have groceries, but, he's like, ma'am, I know you don't want to, but I just need you to stop. I'm like, I pay my bills. I do what I'm supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not out here begging people. I'm not out here I'm doing my job. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, But he was just like, I understand where you're coming from, but these laws are on the books to help people. Other people use this, and he's not even, he's a person of color, but he was just like, other people use these things and they get ahead. They're fine. They don't publicize this stuff, but it's just like, these are laws on the books here for us. So once you take advantage, and I was like, okay, Day and Craig, take advantage. Okay, Smokey, take advantage. Absolutely. That's all you have to say, sir. But I was just like, I've never been in this position. I've always paid my bills. It was a huge thing in my family, y'all, because I did everything right. You guys. Like, I don't know. I was just like, I'm not one of these people that just do things like that. Like, I'm not. I do what I'm supposed to do. But I'm like, dang, like, it's just me. It's just me and this dog. It's just me and this dog and this wig head over here. And I need some relief. And while I was going through it, I was stressed out about it. But now I definitely see the light on the other side. And I think that things are going to be great. This is the perfect time and then it's also a personal protest, if you will. It's a personal protest. The world is going crazy. I'm going crazy. Let's go ahead and I'm not paying all of that. We're going to start over fresh. And then also it gives you, you're not I don't know. I don't want to feel like an indentured servant. Like I'm going to work every day and all my work, my money is going to pay other people. And I never get to touch none of the money, you know? And so, yeah, like you have to do what's best for you and start doing research and different things of that. You do your research. I'm in the library. That's all we do is research. And I was like, let me see what I can do, you know? And so I feel like for the first time, I am able to breathe and I'm feeling really good. We're going to see. We're going to see because the process take a little longer, you know what I mean, than just the, you know, like it's a lot of different moving parts. But I really feel like the plan for everybody, because we can't have the community moves unless all of us are trying to figure out a way to make some money. Now, do you have to, you know, step on other people to make your money? No, I don't think so. I don't think that you have to do a get rich quick scheme. I think that you need to invest your money, you know, create a cash flow wherever you can. And I'm not going to lie, the worst part about this process is being disciplined. Okay, being disciplined, and you know, it's kind of like a diet. You know, you can't eat everything, you know, you see if you're trying to lose the weight. Like you got to stick to the plan. Now, on the budgeting plan, you can't buy everything you see. Okay, you can't. That foundation color, not your color, that's too bad. You gonna have to just make it work. You ain't gonna be able to get the Urban Decay right now. You ain't gonna be able to do that. You ain't gonna be able to get that pack hair. You gonna have to figure it out. You gonna have to, you know, and I'm not trying to do that. I'm not trying to do all of that. I'm not. You can't buy a wig. You can't buy no wig. You better go look in that drawer and see. You know, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that, but that's the truth. That's the reality, you know. And that's the worst part, is looking yourself in the mirror like, you know, you ain't, or, you know, you don't want the account to go in overdraft. So no, you can't do that. You can't do that. We can't, telling people that you can't do it, especially at my job, because I spend a lot of my money on things at my job, not being able, you can't buy, you know, food truck Friday. You can't have food truck Friday. You can't do it. You can't get the snacks at the vending machine. You got to bring your lunch. You got to stick to the plan. We have a plan you have to stick to. It's hard. It's so hard. No Uber Eats. That hurts. That hurts me so bad, y'all. Because I don't like leftovers. I don't like for my food to taste like yesterday. I don't like that. I like for my food to taste like today, you know? So it's just really, it's a lot. It's a lot. But hopefully my testimony will help you. Hopefully my testimony, you need to get your money up. Get your money up. Get it up, period. That is the only way. I know they got whatever they going on, but it's like, if you have money, you can make moves. If you have money, you can get your DNA test done. You can get you some paperwork and you can move out the country. If it's just you, it's me and my dog. And I don't want her to go into quarantine, you know, so it's just going to be me, you know. But if you own property, you can figure out ways to, you know, like, I feel like this country values people that have things. Like, you have to have something. But even if you have something, never mind. Wrong. You know, because they could still try some stuff, but at the same time, I feel like making money is good, but you have to make the money work for you. And I'm still just sticking to the fact that my dad told me that I'm spending $24,000 a year and I'm just giving it away to somebody. I don't like when people say stuff like that. And that's really the motivator. The motivator is like, yeah, you just giving that away, huh? You got it like that. You just gonna give $24,000 away every month. This is 3 years since you've been here. How much money is that? Hold up. This is gonna be because I just signed a lease for the 3rd year because, you know, we're doing the chapter. So 24 times 3, $72,000. 3 years of living in this apartment. That's how much we've spent here. Or we'll, by the end of this lease coming up in 2026, I think, that's how much we will have invested into this apartment. And we never saw any of it. So keeping that in my mind, now we have a new goal, and it's right in time for October. But yeah, The practical roadmap is you have to make some money, because if you have money, you can make decisions. You can make choices for yourself. You can make moves. But if you don't have money, but even if you don't have money, there are systems, there are things available. There are so many things. Like you can do affordable housing, you can do all this other thing. Now, because of the current administration, you have to be mindful those social programs might go away. So you need to take advantage before they do. You know what I'm saying? Start reading the fine print. Start reading up on the benefits. Start reading up on all the stuff. While they doing their thing, start reading up on your own thing. Another thing, if you're in education, like I am a librarian or whatever, and I am like, I don't know, y'all. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. That's giving me stress too. Your girl then got back up with the weight. You can tell I'm still a little, but something that I was looking at was to make sure that I am still good, right? I feel like at my job is good, like I'm good here, but just in case, your girl is going to take an extra, like a technology test. Like a technology test, like, hold on, I looked it up. It's technology or business test. I'm gonna just take it for middle school tests. Like if you're, like in education, you can take different tests for the content that you want to teach or whatever. Like if I had to go back to the classroom, it would be a technology class, computer science. It would be marketing, journalism. It would be those specific things that I would do. Yeah. That's what I would do, just in case. Or I will work in the district as a technology person. Like, I don't know, like, but I have to make sure, I have to secure my own ends, okay, period. I'm gonna always take care of me. And so that is what I'm recommending for people that are in shaky environments. And maybe if you're just in education and you don't know what you want to do, but you don't want to do like content like math, science, English language arts, social studies, and different things like that, I say get into an elective, right? Get into an elective or something that is going to be like techie. Those are always going to be, especially now, even though they say they're not, I feel like education is going to be the last thing to go, especially with the emerging technology, simply because of, they need childcare. That's why we got back to school after the situation. They need childcare. So you can bank on that. Until they can figure that out, you're good. You're good. But even then, if you wanted to start your own business, say you want to start a tutoring, online homeschooling vibe, or just a homeschooling school for parents that don't want to deal with I got it up here. I got it all up here, but I don't know. But it's just kind of like the opportunities like are endless opportunities for you. Okay. My voice is about to go and I don't know where that came from. Actually, I had a smoothie. I think that was it. But I don't know. It's like when you go from eating healthy or eating crazy to eating healthy, it's like this weird in between before you switch back to wherever you're going to be. And that blender is great, but I have been sick. You guys, I've been sick because it's like all of that healthy food is cleaning me out. And I'm just like, oh my God. But yeah, I just wanted to share that with y'all, like thinking steps ahead. We're going to talk about tomorrow on how to detach. Okay. And I'm going to share all my little spirituality, but I'm gonna just really give y'all some tips. Perfect day tomorrow. It might be earlier in the day because I have a dentist appointment. I think they're just gonna give me more aligners. Let me tell y'all, I went to that dentist and I was like, how long? Because my teeth are good. I thought we were done. I thought he was going to shave the attachments off and just send me on my way, but we're still there. And apparently he was like, they said 18 to 24 months. So I guess I'm going to do the full time. And so the 18 months doesn't start until November, because I'm like, how much more work are we doing? I think we look fine. It's time for me to, find another, doctor for something else, but I guess also, y'all, these refinement trays hurt. Okay, they I don't know. I be wanting to fight my genius. I want to fight him. I want to fight because, you know, they hurt. They hurt. And I thought we were done. I thought we were done. And then don't let me not wear them and then wear them. It hurts, you guys. And I'm like, there's nothing else. I don't know. Anyway, I'm getting tired. I will see you in the next video. I will see you tomorrow for sure. Thank you so much. See you in the next video.